Oh, I've been waiting over 2 years for this bag to arrive. Inside this bag is the 2025 update to my favorite game improvement irons. And today I'm going to explore, can my favorite game improvement irons actually be improved? We're going to find out. This year, we've got 2 new Dynapwr irons from Wilson Staff, the Dynapwr and the Dynapwr Max. I'm going to explore the similarities and differences. We're going to hit some shots here in the simulator, and we're going to see, can the best get even better? So I get the extreme pleasure of ripping the plastic off of these brand new heads, which is always fun. Now, as you can see, I just have the 7 iron from both of these today. This is the regular Dynapwr, and this is the Max. And there's some really interesting differences between the two, but first, let's talk about what they have in common. Again, regular on my left, on my right there is the Max. So the first thing they have in common is new cup face design, and I'm trying to see if that's actually visible. You can kind of see it, but look sort of fairly flat. Also, both of these faces have variable face thickness. So just like we're seeing in so many drivers these days, there are different points on the face of these heads where if you strike the ball towards the toe, towards the heel, maybe a little high or a little low, you're gonna have a little extra forgiveness. So that's fantastic. Both of these have what they call velocity optimization channels. So that's a channel that's located inside the sole here, and this is going to increase ball speeds. If you look at both of these, you can also see there is a ton of mass here towards the toe of these clubs. And again, for toe hitters like me, I totally appreciate that because it makes my off-center hits a little bit more forgiving, a little higher launching and higher MOI all told. The other thing these things both share, they're both hollow cavity irons. They have hollow body construction. Again, all about forgiveness. That's why I like Dynapwr so much. They're just so forgiving and so easy to hit. Now, let's take a look at the differences between these two. First off, it's very apparent there at the sole, you've got a wider sole here with the Max. This is going to be a game improvement club. This is going to be a super game improvement club. It's probably one step up from a hybrid set of irons, I would say. If we turn them over, we look at the top line, they're both on the thick side. This one, I would say extremely thick. This one is pretty thick, I guess is the verbiage I'll use, but these are not going to have that sleek player profile we get in the forged Wilson Staffs for the better players. These are designed to give you more help. The other thing that's apparent to me, and I'll hold this a little closer to the camera, is this cavity is a little deeper here in the Max model. So more kind of hollow area in the regular model, and you've got both the hollow area and then a deeper cavity with more mass here towards the back with the Max model. There's one major difference that you can't see, but it's the loft structure of these irons. And I was really interested to learn that the Max model is actually weaker lofted, but it makes sense when you think about it. So the 7 iron here in my hand is 28 degrees, which is a very, very strong set. And that's why you get such good distances in the Dynapwr line. 30 degrees though is the loft at the 7 iron for the Max set. So about getting you a little bit more spin, getting the ball up in the air. Now the shaft options for each of these differ slightly as well. For the regular Wilson Staff, you're gonna have a steel and a graphite option. The steel option is a KBS Max Ultralight. Graphite is going to be the UST recoiled dart. On the Max model, you're going to have the option of a KBS Max HL or high launch, and in graphite you've got the KBS Max Graphite. Now because I'm going to compare these side by side, I'm going to keep the same shaft in both, and we'll go with that KBS Ultralight in a stiff flex. It's 95 grams. Now in terms of price point of these clubs, it is going to come in a little bit more expensive than the previous version of Dynapwr's, but we've seen clubs really on a rocket ship ride of getting more expensive, and Wilson Staff is still producing clubs at a much more affordable rate than many of the big names. I think you're getting all the quality with Wilson Staff. As my rep John Caliendo here in Tampa tells me, you get more yards per dollar with Wilson Staff, so I like the way he positions that. By the way, thanks to John for letting me borrow all this equipment, as well as the Dynapwr drivers that you will be seeing here on the channel, which I'm super stoked for as well. Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss any of those videos. Now, before I hit these though, I've got to address the elephant in the room. So in the history of these clubs and of the history of me doing this show, the first time I saw a Wilson Staff game improvement iron was the D7. Then we had the D9. Then we have the Dynapwr, and now we've got the Dynapwr. It's kind of weird, right? Like, why didn't they name it the Dynapwr 2 or the Dynapwr 25, or somehow make it in the consumer's mind, in the golfer's mind, a difference, a very stark difference. It's going to be, I think, confusing to a lot of folks who are shopping the Dynapwr line when you see one Dynapwr iron that is probably now going to be on a discount, probably $400 or so in a second run store or a used store, and then you're going to have the Dynapwr irons that are more expensive but have the same name. Kind of weird, but you can definitely see the visual differences here. The other thing I'll say is I think they may have taken a bit of a step back here in the aesthetics of this new Dynapwr line, and if I was going to look at these two clubs side by side, which you can see here on screen, I'd probably think the old Dynapwrs were the more modern iteration of the Dynapwr iron. Very confusing, and aesthetics aside, it comes down to performance. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to take some shots here with the Dynapwr and the Dynapwr Max, see how they differ, and see which one is right for which player. All right, we're gonna start off with the Dynapwr regular model here. I'm gonna call it Dynapwr 25, just so we're not confused. I've set a flag out there at 186, which is about 10 yards further than I would normally set it for my set. But this being a 28-degree iron, it is quite significantly stronger than my 7-iron in my set, which sits at 32. So an extra 10 yards is what I'm thinking. Let's see if it comes to fruition. Now, the first thing I notice in hand with this club is that it feels very heavy, pulling the center of gravity down to the ground. I'd almost think a counterbalance shaft on this club could work better just to kind of evenly distribute that weight a bit more. Feels very, very, very heavy, which is interesting, but let's see how it flies. Good strike there. Yeah, dead middle of the club face. There's my pin at 186, and I carried that almost all the way. Now, something we've got to note here that I see right off the bat. Certainly, ball speed is very high for a 7-iron at 118. My smash factor looks very good with the 7-iron at 143, but look at the backspin, 2992. For me, that sometimes is my driver backspin. I assume maybe we'll get it up a little bit higher here if I really plunge down into it. But at that spin rate, we may have trouble holding some greens. And that is always the trade-off with a game improvement longer iron that has a pressed loft. I will say peak height was, let's see, 81, probably a little lower than normal as well. Shot 2. One thing I will say is just how easy it is to swing these clubs. I hit that one a little thin, and according to the GC Quad, a little bit heel side, but I hit the green there. I avoided those traps on the left side, and look how straight that ball flight was. We did get more spin there, 3,800, so that's good to see. But my normal 7-iron, again, lives around 5,500, so I'm low spin to begin with. These are really, really low spinning irons. But they feel good and they sound good, I will say that. Expected a little bit of draw there, but that stayed out there dead straight, right where I put that ball. It stayed out there, so we missed that green, but I'm honestly not unhappy with that shot. I don't mind straight shots. I'll just have to adjust my aim a little bit here. Backspin 3,500 on that one. Effortless for sure swinging these clubs. That one I caught very thin and I yanked it. I tried to make an adjustment there. That one didn't pay off, so if you take a bad swing, they're not completely magic. Still roll down to 177 on a low strike. Take one more here. That was much better there. We should hopefully hit the green, right side of that green. Let's see if we can stay on the green. We did, 187 there. So I guess I got that distance right. As you can see, ball speed again, very high at 118. Backspin again, looking a little better at 3,400, but still that lives about my 4-iron. Sometimes even 5 wood would be at that spin number. So you're gonna lose a lot of spin. That may be a deciding factor in if you can play these irons or not. I think with the peak height you're getting, the descent angle, I think you will be able to hold those greens, but there is certainly going to be a little bit of rollout that you're going to have to account for. Now, if we take a look at our averages, I averaged 116 ball speed, 173 for carry, which again is probably a minimum of 5 yards further than I normally carry it. Total distance, 184, and my swing speeds, by the way, weren't outrageous. I was down a couple miles per hour since these are my first first swings of the day. Backspin 3,300. If we look at offline, not too bad there, 11 yards with that one that went really left on me. So all in all, fairly straight. If we were to take out this one outlier, it would be even better. Our horizontal launch angle, 365. Our vertical launch angle, 1575. Our peak height, 73. And our average distance to the pin, 14 yards. Let's see if we can improve on that here with the Max model. Now, before I start hitting the Max model, I gotta mention our partners, playbetter.com, where I got my GC quad, and you can get all of the golf technology that your heart desires. They've got the best pricing on the internet, best customer service, free 48-hour shipping. They are the best in the business. I'll leave a link down below for you to check them out. All right, changing over to the Max head here. And I feel like the balance of this club is better. It doesn't feel so heavy down there at the bottom. You definitely see more backside of this club. Even at the 7-iron, I'm starting to see the back of this club. Definitely a thicker top line. Overall, it almost looks like a hybrid. Very interesting. Now, again, this loft is going to be different. This is 30 degrees here, or 2 degrees weaker than the regular Dynapwr 25 model. These Dynapwr 25 Maxes, 30 degrees. That shot off the toe, not a fantastic strike, but are we going to hit that green? We did. We rolled right up on there. Backspin 3001, so again, still pretty low spinning, but to be fair, not a great strike either. But if you can have a not great strike and still hit greens, I guess that says something about the forgiveness of these clubs, doesn't it? Oof, really straight club, because again, I'm kind of expecting a draw there, and that just hung out dead straight. Now with the green I have set, that also bounced over to the right, but it wasn't a bad shot, honestly. Just adjust my aim here again. Took a more aggressive line there, but that might find a bunker. Still very easy to hit. Now spin again, 3,300. I caught that, I thought, pretty square on the club face. So spin still low. Ball speed 119 there though. I think that's the highest I've seen. That one I hung out to the right a little bit. Again, dead straight though, isn't it? And last swing here. I caught that one thin. A little more spin on that thin shot, but we come up short there in the bunker. All right, so here are our averages with the Max model. Ball speed overall down actually, 115. Total carry 172, that's down less than half a yard, so pretty similar. 180 was the total distance, and I will say some of those strikes were poor strikes. I think I hit them more in the middle there with the regular Dynapwr 25s. The side spin was 319, so a little less of that. So these are straighter clubs overall for sure versus the 374 we got with the Dynapwr 25s. Offline, these are also were a little straighter overall. Our horizontal launch angle higher, which makes sense. 4.59 versus 3.65 we had with the Dynapwr 25s. Vertical launch angle higher as well at 17.32 versus that 15.7 mark we had with the regular Dynapwr 25s. Peak height, this is a big difference that we're seeing here with the weaker lofts. 80 versus we had 73 with the other club. And distance to the pin was a little bit further on average, 15 yards versus 14 yards, but again, I'll chalk that up to some pretty poor contact. So I would say overall, you're getting a straighter club, you're getting a higher launching club. It doesn't seem to affect spin, at least with my particular swing, a whole lot, but you're definitely going to have a bit more stopping power with the Max model, I think. But if you're looking for pure distance, it's going to be the regular model for you. I think the Max model is going to be for the real beginners out there, and I think the regular model is going to be for those of you who have played golf for a little bit, but are maybe looking to step up from your first set, maybe a package set or something like that, into a club that's going to last you a little bit longer and give you some better feel, some better distance, and some better forgiveness. In terms of if I like this new Dynapwr 25 better than the old one, and is it actually an improvement? Well, I still think I need to take a full set of these things out on course. But what I will say is I do think they have increased forgiveness on this line, which I wasn't even sure was possible, but these are both completely effortless when it comes to striking the ball and getting it to fly straight and long. There's no doubt about that. All in all, I think a very strong release here from Wilson, albeit a little confusing, as we said, with the naming structure and how they've positioned these clubs in the market. But if you're searching for game improvement and specifically distance and straight ball flight, you've got it in spades here with the new Dynapwr 25 family. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel more than you know. And I'll catch you back here next time on another edition of Let's Play Through.